Hello, and this is an absolute beginner's guide for playing the Cleric. Let's get started, shall we? If you're new to Dark and Darker, this guide is for you. And the very first thing you're going to want to do is go over to the Merchants tab and click on Squire. This is where you will get your kit sorted out before you start a match. When you begin, you're most likely going to be stuck with the Bugler Shield. I highly recommend if you just right-click on it, you can remove the item from your kit and then just left-click on an item, and then hit the Equip button to sort it all out. If you're okay with not using a shield, the next best item I would recommend is the Lantern. That way you can see in dark areas as you're fighting. You don't have to take a torch out. Also, the best pair of boots, from my perspective, would be the Dashing Boots. If you're fighting a mage or you're supporting while healing and there's spells being flung across and you're in the back, if a spell hits near your feet while you're trying to dodge, these boots will protect you with the magic resistance. Whether it's a Cleric's AoE spell or a wizard's, this will help. You can also equip a drum as a throwable, an infinite throwable, when you're in the middle of a PvP match. For your first perk, I would always go with Holy Aura in the beginning, because it's good for PvE and PvP. When you're first starting out, that extra armor will help because you don't have any gear pieces besides your starting kit. When you're starting out, I would also recommend you go with Smite for an extra magic damage whenever you're attacking. It's rechargeable, and you can use it on almost anything and everything, from goblins to skeletons. If you're playing in the crypts or the Frozen Mountain area, I would switch to Holy Purification if you're just focusing on a PvE playstyle for bonus damage against all the undead you'll be fighting. As you level up and you engage in more PvP, you'll want to switch out to the following. Switch out your Smite for Judgment. This will close, if there's some distance between you and a target, if you can close in some distance. If you hit them with Judgment, and you have the passive perk Faithfulness, you'll slow them down for a second after you hit them to get in close range with your melee, to melee them with a mace. Also, instead of bonus damage against undead, you should get Blunt Mastery to increase 10% damage against everything. And increasing your healing, even your base healing, is really good. So I would go with Advanced Healing. But in order, I would get the Enhanced Armor, then Advanced Healer, then Blunt Mastery, and then when you're ready to PvP, this combo right here. With Faithfulness, inflicting slow on anything you hit with Judgment. I would set up your equipment, your spell list like this, if it's not set up like this. Bless and Protection, they have short range, and when you cast Protection, you're more likely than not going to miss, so really only cast it on yourself when you're about to get onto a melee. When you're trying to cast it on a teammate, if you don't have a mic and you're about to tell them, you're more often than not going to miss. So only really use Protection on an ally if you can tell them in advance. Bless will increase your melee damage, of course. Both of these spells have a very short recharge time when you're trying to recharge your spells. Lesser Heal is good for when you're in the middle of quick combat, so don't use that spell unless you get jumped. You will always want to keep this at a full stack of 4 if you can. In your basic setup with your basic kit, you'll have Sanctuary equipped. If not, I would recommend highly equipping it. You'll use this when you've gotten into a big scrap and you need to instantly heal all your party just in case there might be an ambush around the corner. And it's always good to have Divine Strike. Always use it for your archers to give them that bonus weapon damage on their bow. Rawhide gloves, low boots, and leather. These pants right here, these are going to be your main pieces of clothing to increase your spell capacity. You can stock up on them by going to the leather merchant, who will have them in and out of rotation. If you're in the middle of PvP, or if you have to PvP, you should remove Sanctuary and put in Earthquake. I would recommend removing Bless because you're going to need to use Protection on yourself before you cast Earthquake to give you that extra protection, because you're going to be channeling it. So you're not going to be moving while you're casting this spell. And this spell is good for any barbs or rogues that try to charge at you to stop them from stealthing and closing in on you, or a barb that's trying to rush you. It's also good against fighters in plate that try to run at you too with sprint. And to finish up the guide, your 2 weapons of choice for the Cleric is going to be the Morning Star over your basic mace, and the War Maul. The War Maul does, however, swing very, very wide, and it is easy to hit your allies if they're attacking the same target, so discretion is advised. Well, that's all the basics you need to know when you're first starting out as a cleric if you've never played Dark and Darker before. Hit that like and subscribe button, and thank you for watching.